I've been on TikTok too much, I think.
Really?
Yeah, I think I've been on a little too much because I've been seeing way too many mukbang videos of
Mm.
sweet treats.
What kind of sweet treats?
Donuts.
You mentioned donuts earlier today, actually.
I've been thinking about
It's
donuts.
all making sense.
I've been thinking about donuts all day. And you know Voodoo Donuts?
I do. They're
They
deadly.
just came out with, I saw a mukbang video too today. Mukbang videos of, they came out with like donut fries. So they're like
Donut
long and skinny. And it comes with 4 different dips.
Why has nobody done that?
One is
That's
like,
genius.
it's a like creamy white dip with like sprinkles in it.
Ooh.
Another one is like a chocolate with chocolate chips. And then I think it was like maybe like an orange creamsicle dip. And then like one other, I don't remember the 4th flavor, but they had 4 flavors and you could pick 2. And
That's my heaven.
and I've been seeing a lot of it. Okay. Also, Crumble Cookie released a new cookie
Ugh.
this month. And get this. This is so funny. What I love about doing the podcast with Jacob is he's not on social media, right? Like, so he
I'm a
doesn't.
Neanderthal.
Yeah. So he doesn't see, which I don't know if you guys knew. I don't think we've really talked about that in depth, but he hasn't been on social media. He has an Instagram. People always get so riled up because we'll say he's not on social media. But then they're like, he has an Instagram and he has blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, guys, he's just not on it.
The
Like,
account
he doesn't
exists,
scroll.
but it ain't on my phone.
What we say is he doesn't scroll on social media. So he's not
good way to put it.
actively on it, but he still has his accounts and sometimes he'll check them. His accounts are on my phone. So if any of you girls be trying to steal my man, I'm going to see that DM before he does.
It's going straight to the wife.
Yeah, it's going straight to me.
It ain't on my phone.
So
I don't want it.
and you guys know our story of Jacob, struggling with lust and finding freedom from that. And there's just so much crap on social media, honestly.
Yeah.
That, I mean, even sometimes I'll be scrolling and I see some crazy things.
Once I didn't have it for a while, I was like, I don't really want it. I'm good.
Yeah. Anyways, but what's fun is I get to tell Jacob what's going on in the world all the time. So it makes for great conversation. But Crumble Cookie released a new cookie.
What flavor?
Hot Cheeto.
Okay, you lost me.
So it's like, it's
Nope.
a cookie and it looks like it just has vanilla frosting on it, covered in flaming hot Cheeto dust with 2 hot Cheetos on top and a lime.
Can I be honest?
Yeah.
That's disgusting.
Everyone's been saying it's disgusting, but it's like all the rage. Everyone's having to try it.
Well, because
So-
it's controversial.
Right. I'm
They
like, it's
knew
kind
what they
of
were
genius.
doing. Nice job marketing, Crumble. You did your job. You got
Dude.
attention. Attention's the new currency.
I don't mean to be crass, but Crumble Cookie has like marketing by the balls. Like they really do.
Oh, they do.
Like-
That's what they're good at.
Yeah, that is kind of because their cookies are okay.
Well, think about it. When you go to Crumble, you don't just buy one cookie. Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
So if I'm running Crumble, I'm going to lose money on a bad cookie to stir up controversy and attention so people come try it. And it's going to be so gross, they're going to buy a backup cookie. You got to have a backup cookie in case this one's not good.
Right.
So you're going to spend a little more money getting a cookie you do like,
Mm.
and you're going to offset the negative. And all of a sudden, you're back on top, baby.
Yeah, but I even wanted to go get the hot Cheeto cookie, and
Yeah,
I
we're
know
not
it's
doing
going to
that.
be gross.
We're not doing that.
I
That's
know it is.
disgusting.
I saw one guy just eating it like straight face. I was like,
I will support the Voodoo Donut sticks
Yeah.
because I am like a little fat kid at heart and I love my sweets.
you
I
do.
love ice cream.
I'm not really a sweets person, so it was weird today. I just woke up and I just wanted a donut. Like
I'll
every
support
once
that.
in a while.
I will support this.
every once in a while, I just wake up and I'm like, I just need something sugary in my mouth. But most of the time, I don't.
Yeah, let's do this donut thing. We'll make a TikTok about it. Is
Yeah,
there
we
a Voodoo in
should.
Colorado?
Yeah, we've gone.
Where?
It's
at
in
the
like
mall?
downtown Denver.
Oh, downtown?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, let's go.
I think it's on Colfax actually, but I actually don't know. We went there when we were dating a long time
Oh.
ago.
I remember one in a airport somewhere, like Miami or something.
I
Where
do
was
remember
There
that.
was a Voodoo in an airport.
Yeah, I don't remember where it was, but
Them boys know donuts, tell you that much.
well, let's give a little life update to start. Jacob and I have been traveling like nonstop. We were in Waco, Texas last weekend, which feels like a year ago. Like it feels like forever ago because we've just been going. We drove from Colorado all the way to Waco for my grandpa's funeral. And he was a legend of a man.
He was.
And we did a celebration of life for him. That's where he grew up. He had 13 brothers and sisters, which is insane. And he grew up dirt poor, like had nothing to his name. He didn't have shoes until he was in high school. That's how poor he was. And he grew up picking cotton, like out in a cotton field, and ended up moving to Colorado, made a life for himself, had one son, which is my dad. And he just passed away this past February. Mm-hmm. It was actually really hard because it was like a month after we had the miscarriage. So we were already like just going through a lot. And then he just took kind of a turn for the worse and passed away within like a couple of weeks after our miscarriage. But it was really special going to Texas.
It was a beautiful ceremony.
Yeah. And this is such a funny story. So we drive to Texas, and we haven't shared much about our dog, Denver, either. He's 3, and we joke around that I think if we have kids, like the Lord was preparing us with this dog to have kids because he has been such a pain. We love him to death. I don't know if you can hear him barking right now.
Barking in the basement right now.
He's something else, but he's been such a pain. He had a parasite for like 8 months. We could not get rid of it. When we first got him, it was actually super hard on my mental health because I was worried about him having diarrhea everywhere all the time and spreading it everywhere. So like we weren't leaving the house, and he just kept getting sick. And he was also just like a little rascal. Like he would bite you. Like he had those razor sharp puppy teeth where it was just oh my gosh, it was really tough. We won't get into that too much. I forgot where I was even going with this story.
You were talking about all the travel that we've been doing, and Denver and Waco.
Yes.
A little story there.
So we drove 12 and a half hours in one day to go to Texas because we didn't want to fly, and for multiple reasons. But we show up, and yeah, Denver's prone to accidents. He gets tummy troubles. He gets parasites. He's gotten bit by a spider. He's gotten fleas.
He ran into a car. Like he hit a car. A car didn't hit him.
Yeah.
He hit a car.
Yeah. He ran into the side of a car. He ran away during a hurricane when we were living in Florida. Our gate got knocked over and we didn't see it. And we let him out to go to the potty in the eye of a hurricane, and he ran away. So we were out sprinting around barefoot, like yelling, Denver!
I'm talking
Denver!
Like tail end of a Cat 5 coming back in. And he literally almost got caught in it.
Yeah. He's problematic, but he's our fluffy boy, and he's finally chilling out. You know, like we've had this past year since we moved to Colorado has been the first year where it's like, oh my gosh, we have just a fluffy, good little boy. Mm-hmm. You know, like he's just sweet now. He still gets a little amped sometimes, as you can hear. He's a little
barking right now.
Yeah, most of the time he doesn't do this.
He doesn't bark until we do the podcast. I'm dead serious.
Yeah,
he does not bark until we put him in the basement to come do this, and then he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna."
Or if he sees a bunny in the yard,
bunnies.
His prey drive is insane. So he'll see a bunny or a cat, and he just loses his mind. His whole body's like vibrating. Like he's something else. But anyways, we do love him, but he's problematic. And so we were driving to Texas. We literally pull up. Our hotel is right next to Baylor University. And, you know, we've just been in the car for 12 hours. So we're like, you know, we'll go for a little walk. We'll give Denver a little bit of exercise. And then we'll go straight to bed because we're exhausted. So we literally cross the street. Baylor's right across the street. We cross the street. We walk probably 20 feet. And Denver picks up a toad in his mouth. Like he launches at it. We didn't see it. It was kind of hidden in the grass, and throws it in the air. And the toad like lands on the ground. And it was big. It was like the size of like a baseball.
Sucker was like
And
large.
Also, this is a fun fact about me. I hate frogs. I don't know what it is. Like if I did Fear Factor, that would be my thing. Frogs. I don't know why. I've never liked them.
You've always hated them. It's the jumpy. You don't like the jumpiness.
They're
of frogs.
unpredictable, and it's like they could jump on you, and like, ew, they're just slimy and they're gross and they look weird, and just like I actually am afraid of them.
And we grew up in Georgia catching frogs with our bare hands.
I stepped on a frog once when I was in Thailand, and it really traumatized me too. It like slid between my toes.
Nice.
I just don't like them.
Yummy.
And so Jacob's like, I was walking ahead, and Jacob goes, "Oh my gosh, Taylor, Denver just grabbed this toad." And I was like, the first thing I thought of was like poisonous dart frogs. And I was like, well, was it poisonous? Because we don't know what kind of, toads are in Texas. So I chat GPT real quick, what kind of, frogs are in Texas? Are they poisonous? And chat, of course, tells me that my dog is going to die. They were saying that there are some really poisonous frogs in Texas, and that we need to like get him to the vet immediately, that he could have a seizure, all this stuff. And we literally are reading that. I pull down my phone and we look at Denver, and he's foaming at the mouth.
Foaming. I'm
just
talking like the concrete beneath him is now wet.
Yeah.
From foam.
Yep.
like everywhere.
It looked like he had rabies. And we were just like, oh my gosh, like, holy crap. So I'm like, okay, babe, you look up a vet, and we just start sprinting back to the car with Denver. We throw him in the back of the car. He's foaming all over the back seat. Jacob's like, hey, honey, like, if he has a seizure, I just want you to be prepared. Like, he's going to be okay. And I felt a lot of peace because I'm like, this just happened. So, like, he's going to be at the vet within 10 minutes of it happening. So I was like, he'll probably be okay, even if, it was really poisonous or whatever, they can do something for him. And you called them, and they were like, bring him on in. So we go in, and pretty much, long story short, the area that we were in Waco, Texas, does not have that type of frog that can cause seizures. They're just like mildly poisonous or toxic for dogs. So like they were pretty much saying the worst that could happen is he's going to throw up or have some diarrhea, and he's just going to be a little frothy mouth for a little while. And yeah, the lady in the Jacob does great Southern accents.
There was a lady in the waiting room with like her big dog, and she was there for whatever reason. It's an emergency vet, and they were like, "Oh, y'all here for a toad? This is the toad grabber." And this random lady didn't work there goes, "I remember the first time my dog ate a toad, I thought he had dadgum rabies." She's like, "He was foaming all over creation."
Yeah.
And then one lady there was like, "I have a habitual toad grabber at my house." And she's like, "I keep a squirt bottle on my back porch of water because he always grabs toads." And I guess the toad like secretes a poisonous thing when it's threatened. And it just makes dogs foam up like crazy. And so she says she's doing it like weekly, rinsing out her dog's mouth.
Yeah.
And they were so nice and so polite.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't even charge us, and they just sent us on our way. And they were like, "Welcome to Texas."
Yeah, we
they
were
just
like,
sent us on our way.
But apparently that's a big thing. So if you're listening from Texas, you probably know that the dogs be grabbing toads out there.
Y'all got some big old toads.
Yeah, and it had just rained. It was really humid. So anyways, we got to do the celebration of life, drive back. And then this past weekend, we were in Georgia. Mm-hmm. Jacob's family, his grandparents had their 65th wedding anniversary. Mm-hmm. And it was his grandma's 85th birthday. So he had all the extended family and cousins and everybody out. So we flew out for that. And then it was Jacob's birthday on the 27th. It was his golden birthday. So
golden, baby.
He's 27 on the 27th.
Yeah.
And so I did a little special surprise where we were in the area like an hour and a half from where we got married, because we got married in Georgia. And so I reached out to our venue and worked out a little plan to surprise Jacob and bring him back to the place where we got married. And it was really special going back there. And with all the traveling and everything that we've been doing, I feel like that's like a piece of dating and marriage advice that I would just start off with right away, is have fun together. I think that finding someone who you have a lot in common with and that you enjoy doing the same things with is vital for a marriage. And it's so helpful when you go through hard times or busy times, to find ways to reconnect and do things that you both love. And we love traveling. We love the woods. Jacob and I have so much in common. Like, I feel like low key, that's my dog. You know what I mean? Like, that's my freaking dog.
What a homegirl.
Yeah, like
That's
he's
true.
he's not just my husband, and
We were friends first.
yeah, we're
were.
besties. You know,
We
like
were homies first.
yeah, dude. Like, that's my freaking homie over there. You know, like I want to wrestle him.
You do wrestle me.
Yeah.
You beat me up.
But we just like doing the same things.
It's really important. I think it's super important.
And it was also just special because something that at least I've struggled with how busy we've been is like finding a lot of time to spend with the Lord,
Mm-hmm.
intentional time. And, you know, our wedding day, I remember praying. We were talking about this, but I remember praying and just asking the Lord, like, God, would you use our marriage and our wedding day to help people encounter you? And I think I expected maybe, like, I was hoping everybody at my at my wedding during the ceremony would get like slain in the spirit or something. Like, actually,
Revival breaking out.
yeah, like I had expectations, like we were going to see salvations, that people were going to come to Christ, that people were going to get slain in the spirit. And that in particular didn't happen on our wedding day. A lot of people said they were touched by our
That
wedding.
was still extremely powerful and impactful.
Yeah, people got touched by it. But what I was telling Jacob is so cool is we've been married for 4 years. And, you know, I'm like, man, God answered that prayer in a really different way.
He did.
With us doing the podcast, with us being able to share our marriage online and share what God's done in our lives and testify of his
Yes.
goodness. And so it's just so cool looking back and just reminding ourselves of like, man, God, you are so faithful. You're so
Mhm.
good. And just being out in the woods, literally, our venue's called In the Woods in Rockmart, Georgia, if you're curious.
Shout out.
We had the best experience there.
Yeah,
Like,
I think for me it was really full circle. And obviously Taylor posted about it online, but she really took me by surprise. First of all, blindfolded me for like an hour in the car. Praise God I sleep anywhere because your boy took a nap.
he
So-
was like literally going with
They
his blindfold
They
on.
didn't ask to know how I sounded. I just told them I slept.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Everybody
But
knows Jacob has
I
some
snore bad.
snoring. Yeah.
I
he
just got a
has,
CPAP machine. I'm working it out.
and I know everyone thinks Jacob's perfect, but this boy snores and this boy has some like serious like sleep apnea. Like for real. He has
Comes
a
with the
sleep
territory.
apnea machine
Yeah.
now.
I'm
But
working
that's
on
like your
using that.
fatal flaw. His fatal flaw is falling asleep like unprompted, like in the middle of a conversation. I could be crying and pouring my heart out to him, and if he's laying prostrate, is that the word?
Just laying down.
I like the word prostrate.
I think that's the word.
I get prostrate and prostate.
It ain't prostate. I ain't laying prostate.
I get those two words confused.
We'll still go prostrate.
Yeah, but if he's vertical, like odds are he's not gonna be able to stay awake for anything.
I bet if we did 1,000 podcasts, I'd fall asleep in one.
You think?
1,000? Maybe.
Well, stay
It's
tuned.
possible. Like if we had guests and I wasn't the one to talk for like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And right now it's like it's late. It's like 10:15 right now.
Yeah.
So we're doing a late night podcast.
Well, and the reason
I
why
bet
we're
I
doing
would knock
it,
out.
you might.
I
The
bet I
reason
would.
why we're doing it so late is because our flight from Georgia last night got delayed.
Yeah, we didn't go to bed
and-
till like 3 in the morning.
Yeah.
And then I got up at 6:45 for work, and now we're doing a podcast.
Yeah.
But anyway, the wedding venue was really full circle for me. You caught me really off guard. I cried. It was very emotional, but it was just really a beautiful moment and a great reset.
Mhm.
Where we got to stay at the honeymoon suite, which is where we stayed the night of our wedding.
Mhm.
Just a beautiful cabin on the water, and we had the whole venue to ourselves, and just got to, I don't know, just reminisce and go worship the Lord with to the same worship songs that we sang on our wedding day in the same spot, and just pray in the morning. And I love me some coffee and a sunrise, y'all. So I had my black coffee at like 7 a.m. on the porch. I was loving life. So I appreciate you doing that for me. That was such a great birthday gift.
Yeah. Happy
And-
birthday.
Yeah, to your point, we know a couple married couples where they have like nothing in common
Mhm.
and they make it work. But I would say I don't know. I'm a huge fan of having things in common with your spouse. That way, when it's time to unwind and you need to blow off some steam, you can do it together.
Yeah.
And you can continue to deepen your relationship with one another together.
Yeah.
Which is kind of what we do.
And I wouldn't follow Taylor Swift's advice for relationships on very many things, but I would agree with marry a best friend who you think is hot.
She said that?
She did.
In what song?
I think it's
is that a song?
Honey.
Marry your best friend you think is hot?
Yeah, she said it's something like, no, I did not, no. You know that song?
Best friend
Let me
hot.
find the
I'm gonna-
best friend who I think is hot. Something like that.
I believe you. I made that up, but I believe you.
You don't, are you
I-
catching the tune?
No.
It's not Honey. Oh man, that's going to
Well,
drive
you are
me
my
crazy.
best friend and you're hot, so that's good advice.
Yeah. That's one piece of advice she said that I'm like,
There's your dating advice, guys.
yep, that's spot on. And
Just do that.
last
It's
week,
easy.
transitioning here, last week we talked about dating and it turned into a whole conversation about purity, which we've been wanting to talk about for a while. But we never actually talked about a lot of things that have to do with dating.
Mm-hmm.
And Jacob and I are we're very practical. I think practicality is very important and it can be lost, honestly, in Christian circles, especially charismatic ones
100%.
where everything is just be led by the Holy Spirit. And listen, guys, we love to be led by the Holy Spirit, that holy sauce. But at the same time, you got to have some practical wisdom sometimes.
I'm actually going to argue that being led by the Holy Spirit is practical wisdom.
Yeah.
I think that we separate the two, and
Yeah.
I think that's wrong.
Mm.
I think that being led by practical wisdom, like you can't read through Proverbs and come away from that and say that practical wisdom isn't godly or
Right.
that it's not from God.
Mm-hmm.
I just think that we get so caught up in like the whims of the emotions, which God gave us emotions. Emotions are beautiful. We should have emotional encounters with God, but we separate that, or we actually put that on a pedestal as it's more holy than practical wisdom. And I really don't appreciate that sometimes. I think that sometimes the most holy thing that you can do is act prudently according to the wisdom of God's word or the wisdom of the common sense that he's given you.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what we'd like to talk to you guys about today is some of the more practical things that Taylor and I have learned through dating, some advice, some common questions that we've received that are just a little bit more practical on like how-tos, do's and don'ts type thing.
One of the biggest questions that everybody asks, everybody wants to know, how does Donald Trump?
Good Trump hands.
Everyone wants to know this main question. It's a question a lot of people answer. It's huge. The entire world wants to know.
Big, yeah, nice.
Anyways.
Nice impersonation.
I'm getting a
excellent.
little goofy,
Shane
y'all.
Gillis
It's
is
late.
jealous of your Trump impersonation.
I can do much better. The world wants to know. Everybody, it's going to be huge. What we're about to share with you is groundbreaking.
Hey,
Never
did
been
you know
heard.
you're really talented at a lot of things?
Never been heard before.
But impersonations is not your strong suit.
It's not. But you know whose strong suit it is? This guy right here.
I ain't got the Trump one is not my strong suit though. He's really,
If you want a country accent, this is your guy right here.
all I have to do is talk like I did when I was 12.
And or just think of like your dad, but he does a great Boston accent too. Like it's funny, Jacob has a lot of different people from all over the US in his family. So like his stepdad is his mom and his dad just got married.
Yeah, my mom and my now stepdad, they just got married this past
Jacob
weekend.
got to marry them. I totally forgot to mention that.
I did. That was such a great honor. Not every son gets to officiate his mother's wedding, And
Yeah.
it was a really great honor getting to do that for them and just unite them in marriage together. It was really beautiful.
Yeah, his mom and his like stepdad kind of that he grew up with. I guess you can't officially call
I
him
call
dad
him my
because they weren't
stepdad,
married.
yeah, but now he is. So.
Yeah, they were together for a long time, and they decided to tie the knot this weekend, and
It's beautiful.
they called Jacob and asked him to officiate. So if anybody else needs somebody to officiate their wedding, you know to
For
call.
the low price of $1 million.
$1 million.
Okay, that's enough. What were we even talking about?
Okay.
A common question you get.
Yeah. Wait. Back to what I was saying though. You're great at impressions because you have a lot of different family members. Like, give us a little impression of like your grandma.
Oh, she's like, hey guys, you want some coffee? You want some coffee? She's from Jersey. Yeah, we're from Jersey. You want some coffee?
Yeah, that's pretty good.
That's Mayma.
And then let's hear a little bit like your dad gives you a call. He's asking if you watched the Auburn game.
Hey, bud, y'all watch the Auburn game last night? That's my dad. It's always, hey, bud.
Yeah, hey bud. Every once in a while I can really embrace the accent, but I have to be around it for a while.
Yeah, Taylor's country accent is hilarious, though. It really is.
Yeah. It's like I can hold on to it for a second, but then like I try too hard and then I lose it, you know?
You sound like someone trying to do a country accent.
You want to know what's funny? I'm so sorry. We're getting way off topic here. When I worked at Chick-fil-A, it was my first job ever. I was like 16 and I would open with this guy named Carter. And it would just be him and I in the back kind of doing everything because it was like 5 a.m. or whatever because I think they open at 6. And we used to both have headsets and tag team drive through, but you can talk to each other and we would kind of goof off and I would always do accents. Like I'd be like, okay, like I'm going to pretend like I'm from British and I'd be like, I don't even know if I can do it now, but I'd be like, welcome to Chick-fil-A. My name is Taylor. How can I serve you or something? But yeah, I would do different accents. Be like,
I bet everyone was very impressed.
I feel like I'm going to
They're
butcher.
like, wow, is she British?
Yeah, I'd be like, hello, welcome to Chick-fil-A. My name is Taylor. How can I be serving you today?
That's
Like
not
that.
terrible.
Yeah.
Could be worse.
Yeah. Or I'd be like, howdy, y'all. I'm Taylor.
The
What can I
country
get you
one's
from
pretty
Chick-fil-A?
brutal. It's pretty rough.
It's pretty rough. Yeah, but we would be cracking up back there just seeing if we could pull it off. And,
That's
you
a good
know,
time.
now that I'm older and my brain's fully developed, I'm like, everyone knew that I wasn't from those
100%.
places.
100%.
And
I think the accents for me are a lot easier when I'm in the moment. I don't
It's
do them
true.
very well on like, hey, do an accent or do an impression. But if I'm like telling a story
yeah,
and I'm all worked up and I'm
Mhm.
impersonating somebody, then it comes through a lot easier.
like you're great at taking someone that you know, especially like your dad or your stepdad
Yeah.
who has like a really thick accent and just murdering it. Or like my whole family in Texas, they're hillbilly, like they're hick. They're in a town of 200 people, and since my grandpa had 13 brothers and sisters, it's pretty much my whole family that makes up the town. And my grandpa's youngest sister, she's the last one alive. That's whose house we went to. Her name is Rosemary. She lives on like, do you remember how many acres? 100?
About 100. Yeah,
100
85
acres.
acres of cornfield and then, you know, the house and some open land.
Yeah, out in the middle of Texas. And Jacob just killed all of my cousins, like impersonating them after he met them. Like our cousin
people.
Mark. Yeah, he did the perfect impression of him.
Oh, what was the name of the cow that he was calling?
Oh, crap.
Sprinkles? Or,
No. Oh, that's going to bother me. I wish I could pull it up on my phone.
starts with an S, right?
I literally can't remember.
Oh, man.
Maybe it'll come back to us.
It was a cute, funny name.
Yeah,
But he was just like hollering at her.
yeah, he was calling the cow like from across the pasture.
Oh, man, we
Just-
got to think of the cow's name. We'll come back to it.
Yeah, if we can think of it.
It wasn't Bertha.
I want to say like cupcake or sprinkles. Or
It was something like that, but that wasn't it.
Oh, that's gonna bother me because we literally have a video of it. But
It was really
I
really
digress.
funny.
But he's good at doing the impressions, especially when you meet someone.
Yeah.
But back on track. One question that we get asked a lot, and a lot of people pose this question theologically, is dun 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 dun, is there a single person for you?
Theology of the one.
The one. Is the one a
The
real
one.
thing? Or is it a myth? And if the one's a real thing, that poses some challenging questions, because then if you miss the one, you're kind of
Up a creek.
up a creek. Yeah, you're kind of screwed, for like lack of a better term.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah, I'd love to know your thoughts on the one.
I used to believe in the one, like the one for me. And
When?
I would say like in my teenage years, I thought that there was like one person. Like I would have fully bought into like this theology of like the one. That there's like
Did someone tell you that?
No, I think it was more of a Hollywood idea, if I'm being honest. It wasn't something that anyone had to teach me.
So
And,
it
like,
wasn't really like a Christian, like, oh, God has this one for me.
maybe it was. I couldn't really tell you where I learned it. I just knew I believed it.
Okay.
So I couldn't really tell you how it was indoctrinated into me. But I think a lot of people have that theology or just that idea about life in general, that there's the one. But if you kind of question where it came from and you go back to the Bible, it doesn't really hold up under weight very well. This is just my opinion. I'm open to being wrong, by the way, but this is my opinion. Is that especially when you view the Old Testament and you find like Jacob went away like to go find a wife, or they would like choose a wife, or it was more arranged marriage, and it's like maybe God's original design wasn't so much about the one as it was finding a compatible partner. And so when I started to investigate that, I actually had a professor in college who brought that up, he was very anti the idea of the one. And he was more like,
Who was it?
I can't remember his name. He had long hair, gray beard, long hair. I can't remember his name.
I never had him.
Yeah, I think I dropped out of the class. But he did talk about
Jacob's
this like the first day.
Taylor is the one for me.
Taylor's the one. Don't you dare. Don't you dare tell me that.
Were we dating at the time?
No, we weren't dating yet. But I don't know. So to be clear, I think where I stand on that concept is I don't fully agree with the idea of the one. I do agree that there's God's best. I think that God has designed us to have a best partner, and that God is sovereign and omniscient, and he knows. God knows my life front to back. He's outside of time, so he's not surprised by my future actions. God knew that you would be my spouse. God knows our future children. Like, God knows where I'm going to be in 30 years, right? And so I think that there's a best that he has, and I think that we also have free will, and there are products of free will. And a product of free will is that I can reject things. I can make decisions on my own. And I also think that ultimately one individual, I'll take my mom, for example. My mom was married for 25 years. Her and my dad were a great pair. They unfortunately had a divorce, and she found Chad, who's now my stepdad. There were two people that she was highly compatible with. Chad's a compatible partner for her. I think that there are multiple people that could be compatible partners for you. But I also think that if we follow God's will, he does have a person for us, and he will lead us, and he will be very clear as to who we're supposed to end up with. But I think that we kind of stigmatize it as this concept of the one, and we almost make it this like mythical thing of like, don't miss it, don't miss the one, and we put a lot of pressure on it.
Right.
Instead of just, I don't know, getting to know somebody and seeing if they're a compatible partner and praying and asking God for wisdom to see if this is somebody that you could start to pursue a relationship with. And I think the danger of it, and then I want to ask you what you think, is if I'm viewing someone as the one, what I see a lot of times in Christian circles is people don't even know I don't even know your last name yet, but I'm going to be like, I'm going to marry you. You're the one. And they put all this pressure on the relationship really early because you're the one. Or you're like I've been waiting and waiting, and you're finally this person that I've been waiting for, which can be great. It can be a beautiful thing, but it can also put people in a lot of like awkward, high pressure situations where they feel like they just get to skip past like the dating qualification of everything and just jump straight into like, this is God's person for me. And then also, if you miss out on the relationship, you're left with doubts of, did I miss the one? Like, is this the one that got away? We've all heard that. Like, it just leads to a lot of negative connotation, I think. So I'm a little bit more in the boat that there are multiple people that could be good partners, but God does have a best, and God has a plan. And if I submit my will to his will, he will lead me in that plan, and he will lead me to his best.
That's really good.
What do you think about it?
Yeah, I'm a big advocate for not ever putting God in a box. And as Christians, I think it's as human beings, it's very easy for us to want to like categorize God only moves this way. God only does these things. And I think you could argue from a biblical perspective. I can't remember who it was. The story of in the Bible where God tells one of the servants of someone, was it Isaac and Rebecca?
To do what?
To go down to the well, and that the woman who offered him a sip of water would be his wife.
Oh, yeah.
I
that
think
might
it
have been
was
Isaac and Rebecca.
I think it was.
Could have been.
So
maybe there's a one there.
Yeah, so I think that is a good example of like God had a very specific person in mind for Isaac, and he made that very clear. I think Adam and Eve is another great example of God creating Eve for Adam, that he had a very specific partner in mind for him. I feel like Boaz also, I'm trying to remember that story super clearly. It's been a while. And Ruth, right? You're giving me a blank stare right now.
I'm trying to think of it contextually about the one, so I don't know. I would have needed to like brush up on this.
Yeah, it's been a while since I have read that story. But back in the day when I was doing a lot of my own research about the one, I feel like they might have been a good example of another time where God kind of called two people together very specifically. And I have seen kind of some crazy stories about people getting words of like a prophetic word about that person is the one. Like our friends Jesse and Sophia, that was kind of their story.
That's so true.
Where God told her like that is your husband, and there were very specific things that her husband would have that God told her. And then when she met Jesse, like before they were even dating, God told her that was her husband. Mm-hmm. And it worked out. You know, it was from the Lord. And so I'm a big advocate on, and there's a lot of things that we don't understand, I think, because we're so finite when it comes to how God operates and works in the world, when it comes to our free will and his sovereignty, that I don't think we'll ever fully understand. And so I'm a huge advocate for just being submitted to his will and walking in relationship with him, and also using wisdom. I think that those things aren't separate, like what we were talking about earlier. They coincide very easily, because God has given us, which we'll talk about, characteristics that you can look for when you're looking for a partner. And those are very important to pay attention to. If you feel like God's telling you that person is the one and they're a horrible human being, I would say, chances are biblically that's not gonna align very well with wisdom.
Are you hearing correctly?
Yeah. Proverbs also talks a lot about what a fool looks like versus a godly man or a godly woman. Proverbs 31, obviously everyone knows that. Reference to like what a godly woman actually looks like. Proverbs is a great place to start if you're trying to figure out utilizing wisdom and looking for who you're supposed to date. But I think that it can be both. I think that there can be, like what you said, God's best, or sometimes even maybe, dare I say, a one for you that God, has designed and wants you to be with. But I think there also can maybe be multiple people, and God works everything for good. So I've seen situations too where God has a design and a plan, and we choose a different plan, and he can still work that out for good. And I don't think it's something to be afraid of, I think is what I'm trying to get at. It's not something that we should be afraid of when we're looking for a partner. Because we can have confidence. The one thing I know for sure is that God loves marriage. God designed marriage. God designed family. And who you pick as a partner is one of the biggest decisions you'll ever make in your entire life. Who you choose to marry can ultimately ruin your life or enhance it.
True.
And in be such a deep well of blessing. I can't even express to you guys how much my marriage with Jacob has blessed me and enriched my life. And like, I struggled an example of this is like, I used to struggle so bad with insomnia, and like, I still sometimes do, and anxiety. And having a partner in my life, ever since Jacob and I started sleeping in the same bed, I've slept so much better because he brings so much comfort and peace and safety to our home. Stop smiling at me like that.
You're really cute when you sleep. That's all. You're just a little cutie.
He has like a million pictures of me in Denver like sleeping in
Yeah,
bed.
I wake up early for work and her and the dog are just sprawled out on each other, and I love it.
Yeah.
Go kiss the both of you goodbye.
But seriously, like, there are so many blessings that come with marriage, and marriage is a beautiful thing. It's designed by God. And God deeply cares. I remember when I can't remember if it was even before we were dating, at some point in my dating singleness journey, the Lord, I remember talking to God about the one, because this is a big question that I had, because I grew up, as we've shared, with this almost like fairy tale idea of relationships and
Like
dating. Disney Channel, and even within the Christian circle, that was very much the it thing, waiting for your person, I kiss dating goodbye, all that stuff. And so I had a lot of vision for, a partner that I felt like God had for me. But then also the confusion of, if I miss it, or if one person messes up then everybody else is off.
Right. Or if, hey, I thought you were the one, but you made a mistake, so you must not be the one.
Right.
You're supposed to be perfect.
Yeah.
I think it can have a lot of negative connotations to that. But I really like what you said, that let's not put God in a box.
Mm-hmm.
Because, yes, it can be that way. God can design like Jesse and Sophia, where it's so clear that you guys were made for each other.
Right.
Zero questions. And if y'all knew the prophetic words that she got when she was a little girl that she wrote down and met Jesse years later, and he answered all of those things through Jesse, it's a mind-blowing story.
Right.
But then you have somebody who, when you're 16, you hook up in high school and you accidentally get pregnant, and you get married because it's the right thing to do. But you weren't even really super in love. You weren't even full grown. Now you're in your late 20s and your marriage is on the rocks and things are tough. And you're wondering, did I miss the one because I made a mistake?
Mm-hmm.
And you're wondering if you should get divorced because there's somebody out there that you're meant for. Well, no, because God is able to turn all things for good for those who love him and who are called according to his purposes. And I don't believe that you're missing out. I think that God can take that negative situation and turn it to such a blessed positive, because he's so big.
Mm-hmm.
God is so powerful that our decisions, knuckleheadish as we might be sometimes, they don't disqualify us from experiencing his grace on any level.
Mm-hmm.
Like, his grace can supersede any circumstance and any situation, including what could have been a bad relationship but now is under the Lord's leadership, that he can turn it for good.
Yeah.
So I really like how you said that, and I would totally agree that you can't put him in a box, and you can't say one way or the other, but you can say, like, God is able to do anything, and the safest place to be. If that's your question about the one, well, guess what? The safest place you can be is in the will of God.
Mm-hmm.
He'll show you.
Mm-hmm.
He'll lead you.
Yeah. So I am, regardless of if there's really like a specific one for you, or if it's more of like a God leading you, however you want to look at it, I think the biggest thing you can gather is the safest place to be is following him and saying yes to him. And jumping back to what I was sharing earlier, one of the things when I was pursuing this whole idea that God really showed me is this parallel kind of example of when I find someone that I've been dating, that I've been talking to, that I've fallen in love with, and I want to marry him. We'll use Jacob as an example. Jacob goes to my dad, and Jacob says, like, hey, you know, I love your daughter, and I want to marry her. My dad has the opportunity to give his blessing and to say, yes, like, I want you guys to be married. I want you, you know, he hands his daughter off. And the Lord really gave me that example, I think, of how he views dating and marriage. Is it's our decision who we choose, but our heart should be that the pleasure of the Father is on who we choose.
It's good.
And if God is saying no, which he will, like, I've had relationships before where you almost avoid God because you know he's going to tell you that it's not your person. Like, he has an opinion is what I'm trying to say. Like, a father has an opinion. God loves us more than our parents ever could. He loves us beyond anything we could really think or imagine. And because he loves marriage, he has a big opinion on who you're going to marry. And that was something going into my marriage with Jacob and going into dating him. I would ask God, Lord, I want to know and feel your pleasure. Like, I want to feel your yes over this relationship and over this marriage. And without a doubt, I'm confident that the Lord does that. And that is his desire, is he wants a say and he wants a place in who you're dating. And if you allow him to, like, he will lead and guide you, you know, to who you're supposed to be with. And so, yeah, I do think it can be a both and. I don't know if you had anything else you wanted to add to that.
No, I think it's beautifully said.
Yeah. So that was something that the Lord really gave me, you know, throughout my dating relationship. Another thing I know we wanted to talk about too was just kind of characteristics of things that you would want in a partner. Biblically. And I mean, one of the things we already shared that I think is so slept on, honestly, is having someone that you enjoy doing the same things and having fun together.
That's such a great practical note.
Yeah.
I love recommending that. It's been so crucial in our marriage. And we even travel well together, which is really slept on. Is that if you guys have ever gone on an international trip with somebody who doesn't travel the same as you, it puts a lot of strain on that relationship where you just get so frustrated and so annoyed. And not that you can't travel with that person, but Taylor and I have so many things in common and like to do so many of the same things. It just makes life fun and easy, you know?
Yeah.
So I think that's really crucial.
Yeah. And just to share a little testimony piece, when Jacob, our first year of marriage, when it came out that Jacob was struggling with pornography and lying to me, I felt so much betrayal and hurt towards him. And it was really rocky the first couple of months. And I remember the first time, and we might have shared this in the porn podcast, I can't remember, but I remember the very first time that I felt, and this sounds bad, but love towards Jacob, and felt any sort of spark or rekindling of, you know, our broken marriage and the damage and pain that we had gone through. And it was literally, it was our 2-year anniversary. And we went to, or was it our 1 year?
It was our 1 year, actually.
Our 1 year?
Yeah, because we got married in June and it came out in like April. And then we celebrated our anniversary for the 4th of July.
Okay, yeah. So we were at a wedding on our actual anniversary, and I almost didn't even want to celebrate it. Like, I was so upset, and just felt like our whole marriage was built on a bed of lies. I was thinking of the elf.
You sit on a throne of lies.
Yeah.
You smell like beef and cheese.
Yeah. Anyways, every time I say that, I think of that.
I think of that too.
But did you say prostate? Nice.
Nice. Let me just throw that in there.
That was actually really funny.
Thank you. Good timing.
I don't know why that really got me. You said it like under your breath too. I was like, did he just say prostate? I keep losing my train of thought. What was I talking
So, what did we do for our anniversary?
about? Okay, yeah. So, this is a testimony of just that example. But we went to Disney for our anniversary, and we just do things the same way, and we just get along so well that going to Disney, like, we're both the type of, don't you fall asleep on me. Another thing that happens is when Jacob yawns, he cries, like his eyes really water.
I'm not crying. I'm just yawning.
Yeah, and so I'm always teasing him. I'm like, honey, are you okay?
When I was a kid and my mom would drive up to drop me off at school and I would yawn, I was embarrassed to go run and see my friends because everyone thought I was crying.
Really?
Yeah.
And now I tease you for it.
Now you bully me.
It's funny. I do bully you for a lot of things that you used to get actually bullied for.
That's because you're an oldest sibling and I'm a youngest.
Another reason why we get along so well.
She thinks it's fun to pick on me.
I pick on him and he's used to it. So he just kind of takes it.
I let her know when it's too far.
Yeah, he does.
I'll put you in your place.
Yeah. You got a lot of patience though.
I do.
Which is good.
Anyway,
I need a patient
tell
man.
the story.
Yeah, so we go to Disney and I am just kind of a crackhead with amusement parks. Like I want to hit every single ride. I come up with a plan. I move really fast. I'm always on the move. It's like a challenge. It's a game when I'm at Disney or when I'm at any amusement park to do every single thing and just squeeze as much juice out of the lemon as I possibly can in one day. I'm talking 25,000 steps. No breaks for lunch. Just going. And Jacob is the same way.
Y'all, I'm eating mustard packets halfway through the day because I'm catching cramps, but we're still going.
Sometimes you're a little more chill than me, and I'm being a little dramatic. But I keep up a good pace, and we just had so much fun.
We did.
You know, like we didn't really talk about what was going on. We were just on a little mission to get through every single ride and stay until the very end. And I remember leaving and just being like, seeing a little glimmer of hope.
When we had fireworks, it was the 4th of July, so we watched the fireworks over the castle. We're not Disney adults, by the way. That's a whole other conversation.
I don't like a Disney adult. If you are a Disney adult, there is grace for you because of the cross, but only because of the cross, because that's weird. You guys need to grow up.
Okay, calm down. Calm down. There's some good Disney adults out there. It's just not our thing. She didn't mean it.
I'm teasing. You can be a Disney adult. It's fine. It's fine.
It's fine. It's all good. But no, it helped rekindle the love in our relationship, just doing fun things together.
Mm-hmm.
So I do think that is really important. I think something that I would like to discuss, because, look, number one advice here is go read your Bible.
Yeah.
Go read Proverbs. Go read the Bible cover to cover. It's pretty healthy to do that if you haven't done that. Because God's going to speak to you. If you want to know what your spouse should look like, go read the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
Don't listen to a podcast to try to figure out what to look for in a spouse. Honestly, we'll give you some pointers, but the Word of God should be your number one resource.
And we're getting all of our pointers from also the Word of God.
Yeah,
so
100%. But God's Word is the first place to start. Proverbs is a great place to start. I even think about 1 Corinthians talking about the characteristics of love and the superior gift of love, which has a lot of characteristics of what you should look for in an individual. However, I hate to burst your bubble, but when you meet your person, they will not be perfect. When you meet your person, they will have big flaws, big ugly flaws. Maybe they won't. Maybe you got lucky. Maybe you met the perfect person that never has any issues. I've never met a married couple that's like that. Usually, there's going to be problems in the person that God has for you. And marriage is a great tool that God uses to sanctify that individual and yourself. And so one of the biggest things that I would recommend looking for in a relationship is this person, this man or this woman, humble? And are they willing to change when God convicts them? Are they willing to take accountability for their actions? Are they humble enough to admit when they're wrong? And are they willing to grow? And are they willing to change? Because, guys, if you're married for 60 years, 70 years, that's a long time. You're going to change. You're going to develop. You're not going to find someone when they're 22 that's just perfectly mature and developed in all the things that you're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
But you can find somebody who checks a lot of the big boxes of character.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, they're honest, they're hardworking, they're diligent, they love their parents well, they love their friends well, they're involved in their community, whatever those things are that you're looking for that are biblically grounded. But then you're going to find some areas where, like, maybe this isn't really what I was hoping for in this area, or they have room to grow. Are they willing to take advice and correction? Are they willing to talk about their shortcomings? And are they willing to actually do something about that and change and grow? And I think that's really vital, because I've seen that happen so much in our marriage, where I'll be the first to say I had a lot of issues. I still got issues. And as long as I'm willing to be humble and come clean about my problems and submit them to the Lord, the marriage continues to work great. It actually strengthens the marriage,
Mm-hmm.
that we get to work through these problems together. And it doesn't put us in a gridlock pattern. Instead, we view this marriage as a wonderful opportunity to help each other look more like Christ.
Mm-hmm.
And we're only able to do that if we're able to humble ourselves and submit to Him
Mm-hmm.
and allow Him to change us from the inside out. So I don't know if you have any thoughts on that, but I think that's a very important thing to look for in a partner.
Yeah, I think that is something. I went to Bible school, and they had us write up all these characteristics on a whiteboard. The girls on one side, the guys did on the other, of all the characteristics you'd want in a partner. And I think it was my theology professor, he said humility is the number one characteristic that you should look for in a partner. And the more I've thought about that, the more I find that to be so true for both guys and girls, because it is true. We're not perfect. And the Bible says pride comes before a fall. Pride is the root of all evil. That's from Proverbs. And someone who has humility, that is willing to grow and willing to change, and I shared this last time, but I'll reiterate it, also has a tender heart towards the things of God. And just even going farther than that, being equally yoked is a non-negotiable. So if you're a Christian and you're pursuing the God, I can't tell you how many times I've sat down with someone and they tell me, I've met this guy and he's amazing and he's cute and all these things, and you're just like, wow, dream man. And you go, is he a Christian? Well, and you're just like, oh my gosh, no. Like, it's just, that's like your number one. Someone who believes in God, believes in Jesus, and who's following Him. That's biblical. Like, you got to be equally yoked with the person that you're dating. And we talked about missionary dating before. I'm a firm believer that you don't date for potential, especially as a girl, because your heart gets so invested. And I think that this is where guarding your heart really comes into play, is not dating for potential as a woman, because we get invested and connected and we compromise on things that are really important. And so I'm a big advocate for, when you meet a guy, what are the non-negotiables? Like, what are the things that biblically, like, you can't negotiate on? Being a Christian is one of them. I would say humility, honestly, is probably another one. Something else that came to mind, if you're a girl and you're looking like, oh, well, what are some good character qualities to have in a guy? One that I never thought of, that fortunately I got, that wasn't even on my list, was a hard worker. The Bible, there's a verse in Proverbs, I believe, that says that a man, James?
Yeah, I believe it's in James. Dude, James or First Peter?
We're so bad with references, but it says that a man who doesn't provide for his wife is worse than an unbeliever.
Yeah, a man who doesn't provide for his own family is worse than an unbeliever. I want to say it's in First Peter, actually.
Yeah. And being a hard worker is something that our parents, I think, really valued. Like, they'd be like, can he provide for you? Can he take care of you? And you'd kind of be like, yeah, whatever, Dad. Like, we're in love. We'll make it work. But honestly, like, now that I'm married and I'm a little bit older, I'm like, thank God I married a man who is a hard worker and who will do whatever it takes to provide for me and take care of me and take care of our family. And being a hard worker and being disciplined is so valuable in a marriage. And if you want to have kids and do the things that God's called you to, you got to eat, you got to have a roof over your head. And that's something that a lot of, I mean, I don't want to say a lot of guys don't have this these days anymore. Like, we've lost a lot of work ethic and just a hard working, and they don't have to make $1 million. Like, some of the guys I respect the most are like blue collar men that just work hard.
We live in an age of distraction as men, and it's extremely easy to take your foot off the gas and just coast through life. Do the bare minimum, get by, play your video games, watch your Netflix, eat your junk food, don't go to the gym, live in compromise, and just get by. And I'm anti that lifestyle. It's easy to do, though. It's easy to do. So I think men are made for work. We're made for hard work. But it's hard work to get to the point where you can work hard, because you have to fight so many distractions in this day and age that want to tie you down and keep you from putting your foot on the gas. So,
and I want to clarify this too. It's not just about them being at the destination when you meet them. Like Jacob shared this, when you meet your partner, they're going to have issues, right? They're going to have things that they're working through, especially if you meet when you're really young. I think it's looking for, we've talked about this too, looking at the characteristics. If you project this person where they're at and the trajectory of their life, where are they going, if that makes sense. So when I met Jacob, I actually was making more money. Like, Jacob was broke when I met him. He was doing door-to-door sales. He was paying off college debt. And when we would go on dates, like, I was the one paying.
I was flat broke. Y'all.
Yeah. Like, he was flat broke probably for like 2 years of our dating relationship. I paid for like almost everything, like food, dates, and you would pay when you could. And slowly it got better. But I saw that Jacob had a work ethic. It wasn't something where you were kicking your feet up, eating hot Cheetos all the time.
I was working 6 days a week.
You were working really hard. You just didn't have any money. And that's different too. So I just wanted to clarify that as well. It's looking for these characteristics of who is this person. And even if they're not necessarily where you would, I mean, everyone wants to be like, oh, I'll just marry someone who makes a ton of money and that will be easy. But a lot of times you don't meet someone at that destination,
right?
You know, right when you're starting out to date them. But looking for that characteristic is really important.
I got a couple questions for you. Can you clarify how that's different from missionary dating?
Yes, that's a really good question. I think missionary dating, there's kind of two categories for it. So missionary dating, number one, when it comes to faith, is just a no-go. I think if someone's not a Christian and they don't have a strong walk with the Lord, if they can't articulate to you the gospel, if they don't have a personal walk with Jesus, I would classify that as missionary dating, as in, well, I'll date them and hope that they get closer to God, or I'll encourage them and lead them. That's like more what I'm talking about. And then also missionary dating as in, well, he's not a hard worker at all, but I think maybe I could talk him into it, because change is extremely difficult as a human being. We avoid change. We don't like change. We like to keep things how they are, and growth in any area is really challenging, and it's something that you have to have the Holy Spirit and really put your mind to. And so meeting a guy who's really prideful and dating him and just hopes that he'll become more humble, you know, I think it's the main, it's the trajectory. If that makes sense. I don't know if I'm clarifying that well.
I think what you're saying is missionary dating, first and foremost, is centralized on faith in Jesus and the gospel.
Right.
But it also bleeds into, don't just blindly have hope that somebody's going to become something when their character is telling you the direct opposite, versus their character is headed in the right direction.
Yes.
There's just not fruit yet because they're still sowing seeds.
Yeah.
Those are two different things.
Yeah. And someone who's willing to grow and has a personal relationship with Jesus, you know, there's things that you can ensure and trust them in the Lord with, that God will mature them up in, especially for men, because I think, you know, men also mature later than women do in a lot of ways.
We're late bloomers.
Yeah, guys are sometimes late bloomers, and there's so many women who are strong in their faith, sometimes at a younger age. I mean,
Yeah, it's true. That's true.
I'm not saying that's for everyone, but I think hardworking, humility, and a tenderness towards the things of God. And I think another thing that is really valuable, that's something to keep in mind and look for, and this is something that takes time with guys, but being in tune with your emotions
Oh boy.
is really valuable to
It
look
is.
for in a partner.
That's a tough one.
And that's something that a lot of times, if a man, they kind of coincide. If a man has a tenderness towards the things of God,
Yes.
he's more in tune with his emotions,
Yes.
because God is what breaks that for guys. Like, guys have this hard exterior shell. They have a hard time being in touch with their emotions, and they put up like a brave face, and God is the one that just absolutely will make a guy a total softie.
It's true. And men, I love you, but so many times the facade that we put on of being the tough guy, it's pride. It's false humility. It's an ego. It's a false sense of self that's protecting the fractured boy inside.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times it's shame or it's guilt or it's embarrassment or whatever that we're protecting with this ego. You've got to let that go. And the way to let that go is to grow deeper in your intimacy with Jesus Christ. And he will start to restore and heal the damaged parts inside of you that you feel you have to protect. And when that's healed inside of you, you no longer feel embarrassed of emotion or whatever it is. And you're allowed to actually, you allow yourself to be vulnerable again.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's a really common issue with men.
Yeah, I'm just going to end by saying this. Those are probably the top 4 characteristics, I would say, that I think are really valuable if you're a girl looking to date a guy, that you could probably put at the top of your list. But I also would say, don't be afraid to dream with God and to have high standards. And there's obviously a balance there too. But I've seen, I had specific things on my list, even blue eyes was something, a tall guy. There's things that I think God wants us to dream with him.
Mm-hmm.
And he's the one that fulfills our heart's desires. He's the one that created us. And intellect was another thing that was so important to me. Just for me personally, I love having deep conversations about theology, about God. And I had dated guys in the past before that just weren't interested or didn't really have a mind that worked that way. And I'm so thankful that I married someone who did, because Jacob and I mean, we could talk for hours. We have endless conversations about so many different deep things, and the way that Jacob is able to process theology and apologetics and philosophy, those are things that are so interesting to me and have kept our relationship so fun. So I think it's also okay to dream with God and to think about yourself and what you value and what you even like, and pray and ask God that he would bring you someone that aligns with you in those things.
I wanted to ask you one more question.
Okay.
Because I hear this one a lot. And I think this question is going to be asked in response to a few things that you said.
Okay.
What about the girl who finds a guy
Mm-hmm.
who is hardworking,
Mm-hmm.
he's honest, he's full of integrity, good character, he's involved in his community, just an outstanding guy, sincerely,
Mm-hmm.
but he's not a Christian?
Mm-hmm.
Why is that such a big deal? And I'm asking you as a married woman.
Mm-hmm.
So can you reflect on your experience in being married and testify why that's actually important? Because if you have a man who's hardworking, well, he checks that box.
Mm-hmm.
If he's honest, he checks that box. He's humble, he checks that box. But he's missing the key part of being a believer in Jesus. Why is it actually important to be equally yoked?
Mm-hmm.
Not just in theory, but in practicality.
Yeah.
And where has being equally yoked in our marriage showed up for you? And why is that actually important?
Yeah. I mean, the Bible talks very clearly about not being black or lukewarm. It says you're either hot or cold. And so if you're a Christian, you're either in love with Jesus, pursuing God, following him, or you're cold. You're not following the Lord. You're not a Christian. And there's not really a middle ground there. And so when you are a Christian and you're pursuing God, being hot looks like following Jesus encompasses every part of your life. It affects your morals. It affects how you raise your kids. It affects the choices that you make. I mean, I can speak from personal experience. When I was single, my yes to God was, Lord, whatever you want to do with my life, wherever you want me to go, I will follow you. And if you're trying to marry someone who doesn't have that perspective, who doesn't have that worldview, and yeah, maybe they're honest, but to what standard? You know, the Bible explains what love looks like. This is just another really great thing to think about. The Bible explains so clearly what love is and what love looks like. And I think maybe we've even shared this, but God is love. God is the definition of love. So even that person's definition of love, their definition of marriage, their ideas about how they're going to raise kids, those are going to be vastly different compared to someone who's truly pursuing God. And honestly, a question that I would want to pose to someone who's, well, they're hardworking, they're all this, they're all that. I would really take a hard look in the mirror and ask yourself, like, are you being lukewarm? Are you really sold out for Jesus? Because if you are, it would never work. Like, those things are, they're polar opposites almost. And following the Lord, it affects every area of your life. And you'd have so much tension and conflict if you're really sold out following Jesus to be married to someone who's not.
That's really good. And I think another area that I think of is tragedy in marriage.
That's so good.
When things hit the fan, you need a partner that you can lean on.
Yeah.
In the Lord, in faith. Because when your faith tank hits empty and I lean over to you and you're not even a Christian, what am I supposed to rely on? Or for you as the woman, as the wife, and I'm the husband, and I'm supposed to lead this family. If you're on empty because of the miscarriage or because of a tragic event, and you look to me to lead you, but I'm spiritually bankrupt and I'm not following Christ, you're now experiencing severe lack. Whereas if I'm in right alignment with God, I'm able to help pick you up. I'm able to pray for you. You're able to do that for me. We do that for each other. And I think of that as one of those things that's vitally important that you might not be thinking of today, but there's going to come a time in your marriage when things get really hard and you need to be able to rely on somebody and rely on their prayers for you and their encouragement, their edification of you in the things of God. And it's vastly, vastly, vastly important.
Yeah. I want to clarify too, this podcast is about the people, it's for the people who are dating, who are looking for a partner, or who are in a relationship. And I just want to clarify, like, if you are already married, if you married someone who's not a Christian, if you became a Christian, you know, after you already got married, we're not saying by any means, you know, that you're screwed.
No,
like,
quite the opposite. Paul says in 1 Corinthians, it's between chapters 6 and 8, but he talks about to the wife who's married to an unbeliever, stay the course. Don't get divorced. Stay the course. For through your belief, your husband will come to salvation. To the husband who's married to the unbelieving wife, stay the course. Keep loving them. Keep going to church. Keep doing all these things. Pray for them. And through your belief, that's how they're going to be reconciled to God.
But I think I also will say, even like for those who are really sold out to Jesus and they're married to someone who's not a believer, like they will tell you, they'll be the first to tell you how hard it is. Yeah. They'll be the first to tell you how challenging and how difficult the path is. And so our hearts is sharing for people who haven't made that decision yet to say, stop. Don't make that decision. Don't make things harder on yourself. You know, don't get into a marriage or in a relationship where you're not aligned, because if you truly love Jesus and want to be sold out for him, and sometimes you are lukewarm and you marry someone who's not a Christian, then later you become sold out and you realize, man, this is challenging. This is difficult because we don't align. Like, I've seen so many people who are our parents' age or even our age, where the wife is taking the kids to church alone and the husband's staying home. and the wife is praying, the wife is on her knees before the Lord, and it's a difficult, or vice versa, the man's doing that, but it's a difficult burden to bear on your own. And then especially when you bring kids into it, it's even more challenging, I would say, from what I've witnessed.
Absolutely, it is.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But God loves relationships.
Mm-hmm.
He loves marriage. He loves dating. He loves all of it when it's done unto him, for him, by him, right? All of these things.
Yeah. I really am curious. Well, were you about to say something?
No, I was just going to say, like, it's a delightful thing, you know, and that it can be a challenging season. We talked about singleness and the woes that come with it. Dating can be confusing. Dating can have a lot of pressure. There's a lot of societal pressure. There's a lot of pressure from your friends, your family. When you get married, when you get married. But I just encourage everyone who's in this season of either looking to date, looking for a partner, or you're in a dating season, just take this time to be so intentional with God and really get to know him. Really establish yourself in him and establish your dating relationship with him. Because I'm even sitting here thinking about, well, what are some of the things that I should recommend that guys really need to look for in women?
That's what I was going to ask you.
Were you?
Yeah. So.
Yeah. And, you know, you've got your Proverbs 31. I mean, there's literally an entire chapter in the Bible dedicated to that. So you can read that, obviously. It's going to tell you about the woman who fears the Lord. And there's so many beautiful things in there. I would like to address a misconception.
Okay.
If that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
You're a bit of a feisty lady. And I like that about you. You're more of a Deborah.
Mm-hmm.
You're driving stakes through dictators' heads.
I am.
There is a misconception that in order to be a Proverbs 31 woman, you have to be a total pushover. And you have to be just light and fluffy and airy.
In your feminine
and
era.
You're so feminine and you're just so easy and soft. And that's a beautiful thing. My mom's kind of that way. I love you, Mama. She's just really feminine and soft and delicate.
She's a little angel.
She's just an angel, right? I'd be so remiss to say because you are more driven and you're a little tougher and you're a little feistier to say you're not a Proverbs 31 woman. I think that's ridiculous. And so I'd like to call out that misconception because I think it's really harmful to a lot of women. And I think it can be confusing to young men who are searching for a spouse. Fellas, God's fingerprint is on your life. It's on your heart. It's on your mind. He's designed you specifically the way that you are. You have desires. You have thoughts. You have hopes and dreams. It's okay, like Taylor said, for you to dream with God. And if you find that you do better with a partner who's a little more driven, who has a little more personality, who has a little more spunk, that's okay. Those things are not ungodly. The main thing that I could recommend that guys look for is this woman submitted wholeheartedly to the leadership of the Lord in her life? Is she wholeheartedly sold out for God, willing to do whatever he calls her to do, and fully devoted to him? Because if she is, you're not going to have an issue with her being fully devoted to you as a wife who loves her husband, as a wife who supports her husband, as a wife who respects her husband, as a wife who edifies her husband, because she's already experiencing that in her own intimate relationship with Jesus. I think where we can run into a bit of trouble as guys is if you find a girl who's caught up in cultural Christianity, who is not actually sold out for God, and then you end up in this kind of awkward tension relationship where you're expecting them to behave a certain way scripturally, but their heart's not actually in it. And that's one of the things that I loved about you from the very beginning, is when I met you, you used to tell me all these stories about when you went on Youth with a Mission, and you were just so sold out for Jesus, and you were willing to do anything God called you to do. And I knew that when I grew more mature in the Lord, like, man, this is someone I could do life with. Because no matter what God calls us to, no matter what changes, no matter what adventure, no matter what season of hiding, it doesn't matter. You're going to humble yourself before God and say, yes, Lord, whatever you call me to. And I know that ultimately, as your husband, that you're going to listen to the Lord's leadership on how to treat your husband, how to honor your husband, how to be a wife, how to be a mom. Like, you're going to listen to all of those things because you love him first. And so that's my biggest piece of advice, is it's the character qualities of Scripture, the character qualities of Proverbs 31, the humility. Same thing goes for women, guys. A humble woman who's willing to admit her mistakes and when she's wrong. But I do see the misconception from time to time that it has to be a certain personality type in order for that woman to be godly and feminine. And I do not agree with that. Deborah was a godly woman. Deborah was a judge and a fighter and a leader. And I love championing Taylor and her calling as a leader and her calling as a fighter for justice. Absolutely love that about her. And she can be just as much of a Proverbs 31 woman as a woman who's very soft and is just raising her children in her home and taking more of a backseat role. Both things great. Both things can be fantastic. Both things can be submitted to the Lord. So I'm giving a very long runaround answer to your question, but I hope that makes sense. That first and foremost, it's finding a woman who is wholeheartedly submitted to the leadership of the Lord.
Yeah, to tag team off of that, I mean, I've always been very strong-willed. I've always been a leader in circles that I've been in, and I've even been in past relationships where, like, I had not intentionally kind of even been the spiritual leader because I heard from God so clearly, and I'm a doer, like I'm a go-getter. So I was always the one that was like, we need to do this. God is telling us we need to do it. We need to do it. And I knew that whoever I was going to marry, the person that God had for me, I needed to have a strong man who would be able to actually lead me. And that is something that was really valuable. I think knowing yourself too. And what's cool too is when you partner with God, it's not something that's based out of fear or missing out or whatever. Like, there's things about Jacob, because I really do believe, and I don't know if you feel this way, that Jacob was the actual one for me, that he was the best that God had for me. And I can't picture anybody in this entire world that would be a better fit. I said that on our wedding day, that would be a better fit for me than you. Like, you are my perfect match. You're the puzzle piece to my heart.
Love you.
I love you too. I don't know why we're getting so cheesy up in here.
Cut this podcast off right now.
I know, but like, actually, like, you are like the perfect fit for me. And there's things that I didn't even think of, that when I felt like I felt the pleasure of God over our relationship, that I was just like, man, God even knows me better than I know myself. Because there's things that I needed in a partner and in a husband that Jacob has that I wasn't even thinking about when I was,
so true,
23 years old. And so it boils down to just like walking in relationship with the Lord and being submitted to him and letting him lead you and trusting the season, that he's called you to. And when I think of our dating relationship, one of the things that I'm so thankful that we allowed the Lord to do in our season of dating was to sanctify us. And you hear about marriage being, the great sanctifier. Like, when people come together, they just get married, and it's like, for a lot of people, like, all hell breaks loose. Like, you're fighting about the dishwasher, you're fighting about all these things, you're figuring out how to communicate. It's almost like a whole new level of, I don't know how you would even, sanctification.
Yeah.
And something that I think really marked Jacob and I in our season of dating was we didn't wait until marriage to start tackling a lot of those things. And we were very intentional with dating to be open to our blind spots, to have God reveal the things that we needed to work on and grow in, and to actively pursue healing in the things that God highlighted. And we didn't wait until marriage to do that. We read so many marriage books. If you go on my Instagram or my TikTok and you go to my Linktree or my Amazon storefront, I have a list of Christian books that we read on dating, on relationships, on marriage, on communication. One book I cannot recommend enough is Fight Your Way to a Better Marriage by Dr. Greg something, starts with an E. That book was so awesome. Jacob and I had some serious communication issues when we started dating. We're both some hotheads. We're both driven. We're both, spunky. And we struggled at the beginning.
We fought, y'all.
Yeah, we fought a lot. We fought all the freaking time.
Constantly.
And we were missing each other completely in how to communicate. We both had like some deep wounds and hurts that we just kept poking. I kept feeling misunderstood, which was a big thing for me.
And I was feeling disrespected
in my past, and something that, like, if I felt misunderstood, it would just cause me to just blow up. And I didn't even realize that's what I was feeling until we read that book. And, Jacob would feel disrespected,
which would cause me to blow up.
Yeah, and we were in these
it was bad.
These reactive cycles, as the book likes to describe. But I mean, we figured all that out in dating.
Well, and it was that our hearts were intentional for the next season. We weren't just dating to date, which is a whole other thing we could really talk about, I suppose. But why are you dating? What is the purpose of dating? For us, it was to get married, to find a partner, to find a spouse, to continue on in this journey of life with the Lord. And so we're being intentional about trying to get there. Mm-hmm. And I loved you, and I wanted to get there. You loved me, you wanted to get there, but we knew we had some problems. And so it was time to start working on those things together. And it became something that we kind of fell in love with because we did long distance for a while. Mm-hmm. And it was like, man, if we read these books, look at the impact it's having on our relationship. And so we just kind of put in the sweat equity on the front end in dating, and it paid off in marriage.
Yeah, and we're in a generation right now where, I mean, we have more access to information than probably anyone in any other time in the world. And honestly, in any other, if you live in the U.S., like even more than anywhere else in the entire world. And so, like, use resources. If you are fighting, if you're like struggling with something, if God is highlighting something, go look up a book on it. Go read a book. We read so many books on what's God's design for dating, what's God's design for marriage. And that was so incredible. And it honestly made the transition from dating to marriage. Before I found out about the porn stuff, that was like the only thing really that we didn't deal with, that never came out when we were dating. And I wish it would have, because it could have been something that we tackled even in, like, I'm not kidding. Our first year of marriage, before I found out about all that stuff, was like the best year of my life. Mm-hmm. We had great communication. We were having so much fun together. We were so in love. And really, besides the pornography thing, that was like the only thing I feel like that we really brought into marriage that we didn't tackle and deal with before. And of course, are there still areas that we need to grow in? Could we be better for each other? Yeah. Another thing that's super slept on, which I think dating can be a time where you're, I don't want to say practicing marriage, because that's like a little extreme, but in the areas of, it gives you an opportunity to love someone and to treat someone how God would want them to be treated. And there were a lot of things that we did in dating that we brought in. It's a place to form habits, is what I would say, especially if you're looking to marry someone. And maybe this is even more for engagement, but it's a time where, like, Jacob and I both surprised each other and did cute things for each other and lavished each other with love and affection. And it's something that we carried into our marriage. I just surprised him 4 years into our marriage. We've been together for 7 or 8 years, and that's never changed.
Yep.
That's something that's, you can build patterns and habits that you can carry into your marriage that could be so fruitful and, like, just so amazing. Mm-hmm. And so I would say for sure, like, allow the Lord to use dating to expose things in you, to expose your insecurities, to expose the things that he wants you to grow in through another person. And it can benefit you so much. Even if you end up not marrying that person, it can benefit you. It can make you a better person to grow in those areas, to learn how to communicate, all of those things.
So good. I'd love to 2-minute drill a couple things really fast. Mm-hmm. I've gotten this question several times from guys DMing me, shooting me messages. If you know our story, when I told Taylor I liked her, she said, "I know you're not my husband," and she rejected me. I said, "Cool. Want to hang out later?" Something along those lines. And we have this story where I continued to pursue Taylor even after she told me no. I get the question of, "Hey, Jacob, I told a girl I liked her. She said she didn't like me back, and I'm struggling to understand how to keep pursuing without being annoying or creepy or crossing boundaries." So I'd like to talk about that really briefly.
Go for it.
When the only thing I can do is testify about my experience. I wanted Taylor. I made my intentions clear, but we were friends first. So we had a relationship. We enjoyed each other's company. We spent time together in groups, and then kind of one-on-one. We'd go ride our longboards or go for drives, and I started to really catch feelings for Taylor. So we already had a relationship in which that's important contextually, that when I brought this to her, I wasn't some stranger. She wasn't creeped out by my presence. Like, we knew each other, right? That's important to say.
She wasn't creeped out by my presence.
I'm just saying, there's fellas out there that are going up to random girls declaring their love, and they're like, "I don't know you."
Mm-hmm.
That was not us. We knew each other. Afterwards, when I asked her to, "Hey, me and my friends are going to do this thing. Do you want to come?" or whatever, we would primarily continue to hang out in groups. And then if I asked her, "Hey, do you want to go ride our longboards or whatever?" and you would say yes, I would go and just be your friend.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I was doing. She knew my intentions. She knew where I was at. I didn't continue to berate her. I didn't text her 10 times in a row. I wasn't sending her weird messages. I made my intentions clear. I said, "Hey, I respect your decision. I'd love to continue being your friend." And I continued being her friend. Were my motives to make you fall in love with me? Probably. 100%, yeah. But I didn't do it in a weird way. At least I don't think I did.
Mm-hmm.
My intent was to continue to be a good friend and to continue to spend time with you, really in hopes that you might change your mind. And I think ultimately that's what happened. Would you agree?
Yeah, definitely. And it was, that's a really good point to be made, because there are a lot of guys who don't understand. And this is something we wanted to talk about, was what does it look like, if we were to pose the question, what does it look like to actually pursue a woman practically? Not in like theory or like, because you hear that term a lot, pursuit. What does it look like as a girl to be pursued? How do we let a man pursue us? And what does it look like as a guy to pursue a girl? And following up with that, what does it look like to pursue a girl if she tells you no or she's not interested? And for Jacob and I, we do have a unique story where I told him straight up, "You are not my husband." Because I'm very direct, and I didn't want to lead him on, because he told me that he liked me. And I just said, "Listen, I know that you're not my person." And there were multiple reasons for that. Did I tell you the reasons? Do you remember? I was just like, "I know you're not."
I think you wanted somebody who was more mature in their faith, and I wasn't that.
Did I tell you that though?
I think so.
Yeah, I was pretty direct. I think communication is key, and your intentions. So if you're a girl and you're not interested, just tell them that you're not interested.
Yeah.
Just communicate and say like, "Hey, I think you're great. I think you're really nice, but like, I'm just not interested in you."
Yeah, and have the maturity to have those discussions.
Yeah.
Because if I would have told you that, you rejected me, and then if I would have asked you a separate time to hang out again and you said no,
Mm-hmm.
I would have needed to take a hint
Yeah.
that I need to take a step back. I need to respect your space and your decision, and I need to leave you alone.
Yeah.
But you kept saying yes.
Yeah. So I told Jacob I didn't think he was the person for me. And Jacob pretty much was like, "Hey, I understand. I respect that. But I still want to be friends with you." And in him saying that, I was like, "Okay, if you still want to be friends, that's fine. We know where each other's at." And like, he was respecting my boundaries and what I shared with him at the time. And then as we became closer friends, I think probably 6 months later, I remember it was around Thanksgiving, we were on the phone and I was like, hey, actually, I think I actually do kind of like you.
I was like, yeah.
So
I remember where I was that fateful day.
yeah. Something that is really interesting about that I've always thought of that girls don't really have to deal with as much, that guys kind of have to deal with from like a pretty young age, is honestly like rejection when it comes to pursuing a girl. And one thing I will say that Jacob has always done very well in our relationship, and I don't know where you get this from. Maybe guys you just get out there and you ask so many girls and you just get used to it or what. But Jacob's always had a lot of confidence about him, where it's like he knows who he is. He kind of knows the value that he brings, and he's not very threatened. And I've been with guys before, and I know probably a lot of you ladies listening have been in dating relationships where the guy is very insecure. He's very threatened. He's very jealous. And that was something for me that was just like, it was a hard no for me in a relationship if a guy was really controlling or jealous, or because I have a very big personality. We went to Longhorn Steakhouse for Jacob's birthday, and the waiter there was a guy, and he was super jokey. Like, he was a cool dude, and I love a good banter, and Jacob knows my heart in this. Like, I don't go around and flirt with guys or anything like that. But my personality is jokey, and our waiter was coming up to us and he was joking around, and I was cracking jokes with the dude, and Jacob was right there.
It's funny.
Like I can't even remember what we were talking about, just silly stuff, but he would talk about, I don't know, just, oh yeah, like he brought 2 checks. He was just goofing off with us. Anyways, I don't need to go into the details, but I was joking around with him. And I even told Jacob at that dinner, I'm like, man, some of the guys I've been with in the past would have been so threatened by me joking around with this guy. And it would have been a huge knockdown, drag out, blowout fight. And it would have been miserable. I remember specifically, I love this story. There was a guy that I was dating before Jacob who was very jealous and just always like really insecure and like worried about everything that I was doing. And, I kind of had that ingrained in me when I met Jacob. And so even him being able to directly tell me how he felt and then handle rejection and not get like weird and awkward or like mad at me, but just be like, that's okay. Like, we're cool. We can still be friends. I was like, well, that's kind of attractive, that you're confident enough to just be like,
Uno reverse.
Yeah, literally, to just be like, okay, like unfazed, truly. I was, and genuinely not a facade, like genuinely like, all right, it's cool. Like I shot my shot, might shoot it again. Like we're cool. I was like, man, I really like that about him. And it's something actually that really drew me to you and made me more attracted to him, was just his confidence and his ability to handle my rejection and not get insecure or like throw a tantrum about it. And then when we were dating, I remember we went paddleboarding on the river for one of our friends' birthdays, and I was standing up on my paddleboard. I had in my swimsuit, and I was up ahead of everybody, and it was Jacob and a couple other people. Do you remember this?
No.
I've told you this story.
Continue.
I tell this story all the time.
Continue.
Maybe I just tell it to the girls and I never tell it to you. But I was paddleboarding and I was up ahead, and we were early in dating. I was up ahead of everyone, and a group of guys were floating down on floats. We were going upriver. They were floating over here, and they started catcalling me. And I don't remember what they were saying. They were more just joking around. I think they were probably drunk. But I just remember feeling like panic of like, oh my gosh, Jacob is going to be so mad at me. Like, he's going to tell me off or like be really pissed. And I didn't say anything back to them, but just from my past relationship, I was like, oh my gosh, like here comes a fight. And I guess, do you remember what you said to them?
No.
You don't remember this at all?
I don't remember this at all.
This is so funny that you don't remember this.
No, what happened?
Oh my gosh. So the guys are past Jacob next. because he was way behind me. And Jacob just yelled out something like, "Yeah, you can look, but you can't have her, boys." And like was just laughing like, "Ha ha ha, those guys." And I was like, I love this man. I am going to marry this man. Like, oh my gosh, he is so attractive to me. Because you were just kind of like confident
Yeah.
in our relationship. You were confident in me. And you know, it's so hard as a girl to be with a guy who's like that, truly.
I'm sure it's very suffocating.
But why are you like that?
I don't know. You know, I actually did face a lot of rejection and like dating relationships when I was a kid. Of there was always another guy, there was always somebody better, and I was always number two. And that was really hard, and that caused a lot of insecurity for me. I think that when I met the Lord, He restored a lot of my identity and just made me very confident in who I am and very self-assured in myself. And I kind of just released that sense of control over dating relationships and realized that it never got me anywhere. All it ever did was bring me down. All it ever did was drive people away. That kind of behavior. When you try to hold on to something so tightly, oftentimes it actually pushes it away. And so I think I just realized that even just understanding women more, I realized that the more attractive thing to a woman, that if I wanted to be a good suitor, was to have self-confidence and to be comfortable in my own skin, that I can't make someone love me, I can't make someone choose me, but that I'm going to be confident in who I am, and I'm not going to try to control you, and I'm going to trust you, right? I'm going to trust that you are who I think you are until you give me a reason not to. Because I had gotten to know you as a friend, I had no reason not to trust you. I think it's also highly irrational for me to blame you for how other people respond to you when you didn't do anything. I think that type of behavior is manipulative, controlling, and irrational. I try not to be those things.
Can you clarify that a little bit more? What do you mean by?
Well, let's take this example. And now that you say it, I mean, there's like a 2% memory in my mind. But you're minding your business, and there's a bunch of guys that catcall you or do whatever. You didn't do anything to solicit that except exist. For me to get mad at you for that is all I'm doing is projecting my insecurities onto you and starting a fight for literally no reason. You don't want those guys. You didn't call those guys. You didn't hit those guys up. They catcalled you. Now, if somebody's being rude to you, if somebody approaches you, I'll step in and defense of you. I'll take care of that. But that's not even what this was, right? And so I just don't see the point. I don't see the point in getting offended at that. You know, we walk down the street, and if there's 50 guys that we walk past, 49 of them are going to look at you twice and do a double take because you're so pretty. And I understand, too, that when I'm with someone of your caliber, people going to look.
You should tell him, you should say that quote, but don't cuss.
It's from Anchorman. It's a terrible quote. I can't really say it, but he's kind of like, hey, his wife is getting stared at. And she's like, did you see that man? He was looking at me. And he's like, hey, when you got a butt like the North Star, wise men are going to follow it.
Jacob likes that quote.
I like that quote. I tell that to Taylor sometimes. Man, it's kind of misaligned, but it's also kind of like, you know what? You're so beautiful. I am not the only one that recognizes that you're beautiful. It's objective. Like, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Sure, except with you. You are pretty to everyone. Everyone's going to think that you're beautiful. I don't want to be the type of person that's like threatened by everyone else's perception of your beauty, because I trust you. I trust that you love me. I trust that you're secure in our relationship. And what better way for me to make you secure than for me to be secure? Right? To me, it just makes sense. To me, I think I had a former pattern of thinking that was really unhealthy that I had to break out of. And just getting more secure in my identity in Christ just made me realize, like, man, I got to let go of that. I just need to trust. I just need to let go. I need to to just be confident in myself and be confident in my relationship.
Did you used to be insecure?
Yes.
Like, did you used to be the jealous type?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, but more so from I was threatened because I kept losing. So I would like a girl, she would talk to me for a month or two, but then her old boyfriend would come back in the picture and she would choose him over me. That happened to me, I kid you not, like 5 times.
Yeah.
It was like my curse. And so I would get into a relationship and be really sensitive and really hurt and project my insecurities and be very threatened by the presence of another man or a boy. I mean, we were kids, but be threatened by the presence of another man because I had experienced so much betrayal, air quotes betrayal, in that aspect. I kept losing and I kept missing out. But then I actually went on a spiral where I said, you know,
forget it.
Bump all these relationships. I'm just going to go crazy. That's when I went really hard into partying and sleeping around because I was actually trying to regain control. And that's part of my history with pornography as well, is I wanted to finally be in charge. I wanted someone to choose me. The girl behind the screen never tells you no. You know what I mean? Or a one-night stand, whatever it is, that allows me to get what I want out of it without them ever having the opportunity to choose someone else over me.
That's a really important distinction that you kind of highlighted, I think, not like kind of almost accidentally, is the difference between finding control and confidence from the world's perspective versus finding confidence in pursuit of a girl from a godly perspective.
Yeah. I mean, it couldn't have been more unhealthy what I was doing. And it was more subconscious. It was from a place of hurt. I was really hurt. I'd been rejected a lot. I was starting to grow up a little bit. I was filling out. I thought a lot of myself. I had a really inflated ego. And I just wanted to prove to myself that I was something. And the more women I could get, the more porn I would watch, whatever, the better I would feel about myself in a weird, twisted way because I wasn't being rejected anymore.
Real quick, that's how a lot of guys in the world operate. That's how
Yes, it is.
most guys build up their confidence by, like, for a lack of a better term, getting reps in.
Yeah, how many bodies
Sleeping
can I
around,
catch? Yeah.
hitting on girls, and the more girls that they get, the better that they feel about themselves.
That's your badge of honor. Yep.
Is there any correlation or validity to getting reps in, not sleeping around, but asking a girl to coffee, taking girls out on a date as a Christian man?
Great question. My butt's asleep.
We've been sitting here for a while. I gotta rotate too.
So the question is there any validity, or are you asking, is there any positive elements?
Yeah, is there any value? Is that something that, because obviously there's an element of that is, I would think, maybe kind of true. That you build up confidence in talking to girls by talking to girls.
I hate to admit this, but my devilish past probably did aid a lot in my confidence when it came to meeting you. Because I got so many reps in, and I'm saying reps in of talking.
Yeah.
Talking to women. Okay.
And kissing women, you dirty dog.
I did kiss a lot of women.
Yeah, I know. He doesn't even know how many people he's kissed. Can you believe that?
Count. One time I walked in an elevator and kissed 4 strangers. And I was with a girl that I was talking to, and I hadn't kissed her yet, so it was really awkward.
You're naughty.
I was a bad boy. I was broken. I was really broken. But
shame.
So I had talked to so many women, and I'd gained a sense of self. Even though it was a distorted sense of self, I did have a confidence that I was now capable. I didn't feel awkward anymore talking to girls. I didn't have a hesitancy. Instead, I was actually way on the other side of having an inflated ego. So when I came to Christ, I think that was tampered down a lot, but I still probably had some of that like overconfidence that maybe aided me a little bit. And it definitely came from actually getting in the reps. I grew up in a household of 4 boys. No women were around except my mom. I didn't understand women very well. And so I had to learn a lot of that in the dating relationship. But to the extent of understanding women enough to have a conversation and understanding what they would find attractive, I got plenty of reps in that way. I am a big fan and a proponent, if it's appropriate for young Christian men or older Christian men, whatever, yeah, just go ask for the date. Go talk to the girl. Go have a conversation. Go take her out for coffee. Have a casual date. Just because you guys go out to coffee doesn't mean you're boyfriend, girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think that you should be able to go have a conversation with a woman to explore if this is a potential partner for you, to explore if you have things in common, to express interest maturely. That's what I did with you, is I expressed my interest in a mature way and a God-honoring way. And if it didn't work out, that's okay. That's all right.
Yeah, and how are you going to know if they love the Lord? How are you going to know if your values align if you don't have a conversation?
Y'all, how are you going to get married if you don't ask her on a date?
Yeah, that's a good
Go
point.
ask her on a date. And if it doesn't work out, that's okay. And look, if you ask her on a date and you go on the date and it doesn't work out, don't be awkward. Have the maturity to say, hey, I really appreciate your time. Like, whatever your reasoning is, maybe you didn't feel the spark or the connection or it just wasn't quite right. Have the maturity to tell them that and still respect them, and then state your intention for how you're going to interact with that individual in the future. It's mature. Yes, it's awkward, but you can do that.
Well, and that's so attractive to a girl. Like a guy that knows what he wants and a guy that is okay with rejection and a guy that's like, hey, you know, I understand that this might have not been the right fit, but like I'm still okay with being friends with you and I don't want things to be weird.
Yeah, and I'm really grateful for you, you know, at least giving me the opportunity. And here's kind of where I'm at right now.
That's just being a good guy. Like that's
I just want to respect you. Like I want to honor you as the woman of God that you are. And I don't want things to be weird. Like obviously we're still in the same community and all that. So you can have those conversations without being a total weirdo.
Mm-hmm.
And again, pendulum swing, right? So there's a lot of guys over here petrified to ever even talk to a girl and express interest.
In the Christian world,
Christian world specifically. And then you have like that one guy who
that
asks every girl
out.
on a date, every single girl. Don't be that guy either. Don't just spray and pray. Like
spray and pray?
Spray and pray?
What does that even mean?
So when my uncle was in Vietnam, they would carry their M16s on their shoulder on a sling and just hold it at their waist and just pull the trigger and spray into the bushes.
Oh my god.
Spray and pray.
Okay, so you're talking about guns when you say that.
Yeah. Don't just like, I'm going to ask everyone on a date and see who says yes. Like, be intentional. Women don't want to just know that they're like
one
part
in
of
a million.
Cattle auction. Like, oh, number 379, please step up for your coffee date. Like, no, dude, don't
what
be
I'm
weird.
hearing you say is there's actually a lot of value in trying to learn and understand women as well, if you want to pursue one.
Yes, absolutely. And you know what, guys? If you go on 5 dates before you find your wife, you will interact better with your wife because you went on those 5 dates.
Mm-hmm.
Because you have a little bit of experience under your belt. It's not a sin to go on a date. It's okay. You can go on a date. You can have coffee. You can have lunch. You can go to a movie. You can do whatever. You can hang out. You can express interest. And it's not like you're doing something wrong. And just take the pressure off. You don't need to feel that pressure as the man. She doesn't need to feel that pressure as the woman for you to go on one date and decide if this is your person. Like, it's okay to have a little bit more of a casual approach to dating. To just be practical, too. Don't over-spiritualize it to the extent of where you're psyching yourself out. Like, y'all, hey, I was attracted to Taylor. I thought she was physically attractive. That's okay. I thought that she was funny, intelligent, and I liked how we interacted in groups together. Later. But I liked how we interacted in groups together. I thought you had a great personality. You were funny. And I was like, man, she really loves God. Why would I not want to take her on a date? Why would I not want to express my interest to her? So I did. And then I got to know you deeper on the back end because of that. So yeah, I think there's definitely value in demystifying dating, taking the pressure off a little bit, and just ask.
Yeah.
And just go.
This might be controversial, but I'm a big advocate too for having like, okay, not when you're boyfriend and girlfriend, but more like when you're single, having like opposite sex friendships, and you need to know yourself, especially as a girl. If you're the type of person that gets really connected, or if you like a guy and you're trying to be friends with him and like he's not into you and it's just hurting you, that's a different situation. But there's a lot of value that can be had, and I've had a lot of value in having friendships with guys when I was single. Um and or even if you go on a date and it doesn't work out, like it's okay to be friends
Mm-hmm.
with guys because it teaches you how to interact with them. I think men carry so much value in how they see God, how they view the world. Like I've had some of the most powerful conversations about God with the opposite sex. Um, and I think it comes back to just communication, like
Mm-hmm.
being open about how you feel, about how the other person feels, not leading the other person on, you know. I guess my dad always says that guys and girls can't ever be friends because he thinks that one will always like the other.
I think it happens more often than people would like to admit,
Probably.
and it's safest. My advisement there is it's safest to do that in group settings.
Yeah.
I don't encourage you to go out one on one constantly, guys, if you're with a girl or girls with a guy, over and over again, because you're going to have to be really clear in your communication eventually, especially if you're just objectively, if you're both attractive people, the odds that somebody, and attractive to each other, right? Like you're like, yeah, it's a good looking person. The odds if you spend enough time with them that somebody's going to catch feelings are decently high.
Mm-hmm.
So it does take a lot of communication. And the safest way to do that is in group settings, at church, whatever. But yeah, it's like, don't be afraid to have a conversation with somebody of the opposite sex. Don't be
Yeah.
afraid to have a friendship. And don't be afraid to get to know them and understand what makes them tick. How do they operate? Ask them questions, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
100%.
Yeah. I also want to add on and just say I think seeking godly counsel too is really helpful when you're dating because there is a lot of confusion. There can be a lot of nuance. And if you are involved with a church, talk to your pastor. If you have godly parents, talk to your parents. Those people are really helpful in advising you and helping you see blind spots in, who you're talking to or how you approach a relationship. Um, Besides that, I feel like that's kind of all we have for you. I do want to pose one more question, unless you have anything else to add. But I'd love to hear your thoughts just to wrap this whole thing up on online dating as a Christian.
Wow, that's a good one. I have seen online dating work and be effective.
Mm-hmm.
I can't say that it's bad or inherently bad. I don't think there's room to say that because good things have come from it. I think that you really, really have to guard your heart with online dating, especially what app are you using? What are the morals of that app? What is that app known for?
Mm-hmm.
Is it a hookup culture? How are people displaying themselves? Are you being led by your physical attraction? Or are you looking for somebody specifically who's passionate about something? I think you have to be really honest with yourself when it comes to online dating. I have also seen online dating go pretty south because sometimes, not for everyone, sometimes it's a last resort. People are feeling really lonely. Everyone around them is getting in a relationship. So you try to rush the process and you sign up for online dating. And the first person that comes across, I've seen individuals just jump all over it and they go head over heels. This is my person. And they get way too deep, way too quick because they're just craving that attention. They're craving the relationship that everyone else around them has. And I'm not saying that's everybody on online dating. I'm really not. But if that's you and you're just examine your motives, just be honest with yourself about why am I getting into online dating? Am I in a situation where in my day-to-day life I'm not being exposed to a whole lot of new people, so I need to just get out there a little bit? Great, 100%. Or your community is really small and you want to branch out and you want to start going on some dates, awesome. But if you're examining that you're frustrated and you're fed up and you just all you want is some attention or all you want is to be in a relationship, and you jump on there and you're looking like, oh, they're cute. They're cute. Like, let me just jump all over that. Just guard your heart, man. Don't put yourself in a position to fail. Don't put yourself in a position to get in a really complicated relationship, compromise your morals just because somebody's cute and you need some attention. I think that it can be a really slippery slope and something that's really easy to fall into. And I think you need to be really careful too, because you don't know the other person's intentions when you're meeting somebody across a screen. So just vet, do your research. I hate to say it, but like meet in a public place and get to know them genuinely, and just try to maintain the same heart posture that you would if you met somebody casually and organically, and you know, vet them out properly from a Christian perspective to make sure that their heart's in the right place and that you guys are looking for the same thing.
I think a lot of Christians as well will try to kind of rush into things because they want to be in a relationship or they
Right.
want to have sex, honestly. And there's a lot of value in being friends first or just really taking the time to get to know someone. And I even had an experience. It wasn't online dating, but I had my very first relationship ever. I didn't know the guy at all, and he had messaged me online because we had gone to a camp, and I never even saw him, but I guess he saw me and he found me online and he messaged me. And there were things about him that I found out 8 months, a year into our relationship, because I didn't know him at all. I had no context for like who his friends were, and he said a lot of good things. Like he said that he loved the Lord, you know, and there was stuff that I found out like a year into our relationship that I just did not know at all was even there, because we started dating like 2 weeks after I met him.
That's a great point.
So I think there's a lot of wisdom in, and what I love too when you're following the Lord is you ask God to reveal, to bring what's in the dark to light. You ask him to expose and to give you peace. I think peace is a huge indicator when you're dating. If you're not feeling peace, like if you're feeling anxious, you're feeling like unnerved, unsettled, God is not a God of confusion. He's a God of peace, and he's a God of order, and he's a God of clarity. You know, he doesn't want you to live under confusion. And so if you're feeling like really confused and you just don't feel settled in your spirit, I think that's another really good indicator that you might not need to get into the relationship, or you might need to get out of the relationship too. But just being open to the Lord, being open to him speaking. I think the podcast that we did on how to hear his voice can be really valuable.
About to say that.
Yeah, knowing what God sounds like, knowing how he speaks, seeking counsel. And I'm going to end with this, unless you think of something at the very end. But put yourself in a position to meet a godly person. If you're a Christian and you're complaining that you haven't met anyone, but you're not involved in the local church, you're not in a Bible study, you're not in a small group, it's going to be so hard to meet someone. If all you're doing is going out to the bar every Friday, you're not going to meet somebody of caliber there.
So true.
You're going to meet someone of caliber and someone who has the same morals and values as you in similar places that someone with those morals and values would go.
Y'all, that is so true.
So, I mean, like I did YWAM and met amazing people. I could list off a handful of guys right now who I could tell you, great guys. I think they're all married now, you know, and they're great husbands. They love the Lord. We went to a Christian college, you know, amazing guys there. Our best friend, Jesse, who we shared about earlier, who married Sophia. He's an amazing guy. All the guys in your wedding were most of them were from our college, and they're amazing guys that love the Lord.
Right.
They intentionally went to a Christian school. Out of all the churches we've been to, we've met amazing guys. Yes, sometimes as a girl, it can feel like it is so hard to find a godly guy, but put yourself in positions. Go to conferences.
Yeah.
You know, put yourself, if you want to find a husband, you got to put yourself out there a little bit too. Like, you're not just going to find a husband sitting in your room every night eating
Scrolling
donuts.
TikTok.
Yeah, eating donuts and popcorn. You're going to find someone by, you know, looking a little cute and getting out there. So
Come on now. No, I want to add on to that because we get the comment all the time of like, what was your Amazon order? You know, like, where did you find him? Like, what shelf at Walmart was he on?
Yeah.
You know, if there's like a cute video of me doing whatever with Taylor. And like, it's just hilarious. I don't have social media. And I live like a semi-quiet life in our local community. Okay, if you want to meet a guy who's not on social media, you're not going to find him if you're spending all your time on social media.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that sounds simple, but think about it.
Mm-hmm.
There are plenty of guys out there who are not on socials, and that's not a requirement to be a good guy, first of all. But there's plenty of guys out there who are living a quiet life, working hard, full of integrity, stud muffin handsome dudes, but you've never met them because they're not online. And you're only going to meet them if you get in their physical proximity. And so it sounds simple, but it's so true. Because if your screen time is 7 hours a day and you're not going to in-person events, but for 1 hour a day on a Sunday morning, that's what, 49 hours on your screen versus 1 hour in person? Like, do the math and start realizing where you're spending your time, and you'll realize like how little you're actually available to meet these types of people. So something to think about.
Adding on to that too, as a girl, knowing what it's like to be pursued, I think a big element of how do I become someone who could be pursued is being available and also being gracious. And I've always had this approach. I don't care how crusty a dude is. I don't care how much he gives me the ick. If he works up the confidence to come over and to tell me that he's interested, like a lot of times I will go on a coffee date with him.
Not anymore.
Well, yeah, not anymore.
What the heck? I'm jealous.
Oh my gosh. We're losing our steam here. We're really tired, but I will be gracious and I will be kind and I will show them dignity and respect,
That's
know.
great.
And I will be approachable. You know, if someone comes up to me, like, I'm not going to be the girl that's like, ew, get away from me. You know, like,
Yeah, that's
even
so
if it's
damaging.
someone, yeah, even if it's someone that I'm not interested in, like, even as a sister in Christ, like, we're called to help our brothers out,
Help
you
a brother
know.
out.
And I'll be honest about my feelings. Or there are times too where I'm just like, I'm so sorry, like, we're not going on a date. But you can do it with grace and with kindness and with love and without completely ripping a guy's self-esteem, to
Yeah, because
shreds.
maybe he's been talking himself up for like 3 months. All his buddies hyped him up.
Yeah.
And he finally works up the guts to come and talk to you.
Yeah.
And I mean, you
it's
really.
hard out there for guys. I feel
It
for
is.
them.
No, it is. And I mean, there's guys out there that I know that asked 50 girls on dates and never got a single date.
So
That's
sad.
hard, y'all.
Yeah.
It's actually hard. And being friend zoned sucks, Like it destroyed a lot of my identity when I was a young man. And I didn't have the leadership or guidance at home to talk me through that. So I was dealing with it by myself. And man, it wrecked my sense of self and identity.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why am I not good enough?
Yeah.
Like, am I not handsome enough? Do I need to get bigger, stronger? Am I not well spoken? Like, what do these other guys have that I don't have? Why is everyone else able to get the girl and I'm not? Like, what's wrong with me?
Mm.
And then you finally work up the courage to talk to a girl and she's really rude to you. It can really hurt.
Yeah.
It can really hurt.
So, and I think just being approachable, being willing to like go on a date, being willing to kind of give it a shot.
Yeah, don't complain that nobody's asking you on dates if you're sitting in the corner with an RBF staring at your phone.
Okay.
No, I'm serious.
That's a little intense.
No, I'm serious. Because you need to be approachable.
Yeah.
Like it's hard enough to go and ask you on a date.
Mm-hmm.
It's a whole other thing if you look just like mad at the world and you're staring at your phone and you're completely disconnected from the present moment, whether it's a group of friends or whatever. If you want to be asked on a date, be approachable.
Yeah.
It's like 50-50. Meet me in the middle a little bit.
Yeah.
So not that a guy can't overcome that, but it's going to take a lot of confidence to overcome more obstacles than just asking the question. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. And I keep thinking of a million things to share, so I'm going to add this on at the very end here too.
Sounds
But I shared this in the singleness podcast about, as a woman, letting the Lord pursue you and to allow him to romance you and allow him to define, what it looks like to be loved and to be pursued. And I want to say in every area, in singleness, in dating, in marriage, that never changes. God is what we actually need. Like, he is what actually satisfies. He is what actually fulfills. And if you're dating, if you're engaged, if you're married, if you're single, leaning on the Lord, no matter what season you're in, that is what is most valuable. And that is what will actually satisfy and fulfill you and give you purpose and fill that void of identity that we're all looking for anyways. A relationship will never do
So good.
what God can do for you.
100%.
And so let that be your anchor and let him guide you. Seek godly counsel. And that's all I have for you guys.
That's all we got, y'all.
That's all we got. We love y'all, and we will see you not this week, but the week after for our marriage episode.
Can't wait.
Can't
We'll
wait.
see y'all then.
Love ya.
Peace out.
Bye.